I've experienced a level of discrimination in the recruitment process. Some of it's, or most of it, was quite subtle, to be honest. When I first approached some agents at the time I was transitioning, I was slightly insecure in my own self and where I was going. So I signposted, I said, look, I'm trans, is this going to affect my ability to get a job? And many agents were very honest, said, yes, it would.
So the company I was in before, where again I was progressing through the ranks, at that level and above, again, it was all white male. So if you was a female, if you was of ethnic origin or any other that didn't fit that face, then you just wouldn't progress.
Everything was really good. And then they said, yeah, that's brilliant, come in for an interview. And I said, well, can I just check that the building is wheelchair accessible? And I could hear her change in tone and like her moving on her chair. And she went, why? And I said, well, because I'm in a wheelchair.
I had just finished university. I had also was a finalist in the National Graduate of the Year Awards, and I found a really good recruitment agency and I found a recruiter who really liked me. As I finished university though, I was kind of going through a bit of a spiritual development and I had decided to start to wear the hijab and to start covering my hair. And when I called her one day, and it was a social thing, I just said sort of very casually, oh, by the way, the next time you see me, you might not recognise me straight away because I've started wearing the hijab. And it kind of just caught her off guard a little bit. And then I got an email about half an hour later saying that she'd cancelled lunch. And then about 3 hours later, cancelled every single one of the 9 interviews that had been put in my diary.
And she said, Denise, look, you haven't been to university. You're quite different to the other candidates. I was trying to help you. The more I've thought about it in my own current career now, that lady wasn't trying to help me. What she was doing was really flexing her opinion, her power and her privilege. And what she actually did was put more barriers in place for me for that interview. And then I also thought about, was it my level of education that she was referring to with university, or was it because I'm a woman of colour, because the other candidates in the room were white?
I mean, I had it out with my manager at the time, and I did point out to her that out of the 15 members of your team, I am the only woman and I'm the only woman of colour, but yet I am the lowest paid. We're all here doing the same job, but yet I'm the least paid.
It made me really feel undervalued. It also, at that time, put me in a completely different mind frame for that interview. So I was completely unprepared. It really made me feel that they were not inclusive. They didn't value lived experience at all. They didn't understand that lived and learned experience are just as valuable. I also thought that they didn't want me as a woman of colour within their organisation.
It did make me feel upset, but more so it made me feel angry, and it made me feel kind of empowered to do something about it.
I was disappointed, I was angry, and mainly because there's a process in place for progression. A member of my team progressed up a level. The only difference between myself and her is she's white and I'm black. That's the only physical difference. In terms of experience, I mean, she's only been in the field for 1.5 years, while I've been in the field for 2.5 years.
It happened because there's a lot of bad stigma, a lot of fear, a lot of misunderstanding around what being a practicing Muslim means. Because I thought that they had invested in me as a person and believed in my ability, and all of the conversations leading up to that were, I'm so excited to put you in front of this company, I'm really excited to represent you, best person I've had all year, etc., etc. To then have that switch off overnight, well, not even overnight, within an hour, it made me feel worthless, if I'm being honest.
If you stray too far outside of what a traditional man looks like or what a traditional female looks like, then you're seen to be different. And trans people fit into many different categories, whether it's trans-masculine, trans-feminine, non-binary or gender fluid. And what can happen is that it comes down to how good you look often. In the same way that visible tattoos, piercings, hairstyles, dress and how you present, it matters how you fit into an organisation.